Before the Trump faithful, the former president dangled another 2024 trial balloon.
And now we may have to do it again.
At the Conservative Political Action Committee gathering in Dallas Saturday, Mr. Trump basked in the loyalty of his base.
I am all in.
In the CPAC straw poll, 69% of attendees say if Donald Trump is on the ballot, they would vote for him. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is next at 24%.
I would really like to see a push from Ron DeSantis.
Knocking Democrats from President Biden to leaders on Capitol Hill, he painted a bleak picture of the economy, crime, and cultural divides.
We are a nation in decline. We are a failing nation.
Describing himself as persecuted, he again made false claims about the last election and the January 6th investigation, then mockingly acted out his denial
His neck is like this.
of former Trump aide Cassidy Hutchinson's headline-making testimony about an alleged incident between Mr. Trump and Secret Service in his car on January 6th.
And I said, take me to the Capitol. Oh, sir, can't do it. So I grabbed the steering wheel.
While investigations risk his political sway in the broad Republican Party, many conservatives, like those at CPAC, still follow his lead as the critical midterms approach.
America's comeback begins this November.
I mean,
really
Yeah.
No. It's really something. Think about this. And I guess this is just how sick American politics has become over the past couple decades. But it's always enraged me that people only love America if their candidate, if their person is in the White House. And America's only great if their party is running things. And the second their party's not running things, suddenly things collapse. Of course, this has been a trend that has been building for quite some time. You could talk about Bill Clinton, obviously. You could talk about George W. Bush. You couldn't walk anywhere in New York City where there weren't pictures of George W. Bush as Adolf Hitler. You, of course, could talk about Barack Obama and the mass insanity that followed him around when he was president from people on the far right. But it all reached this climax with Donald Trump, where Trump's running for president, and what's he saying? He's saying the American dream is dead. The American dream is dead because he's not in power, right? Mm-hmm. And then he gets there and he talks about American carnage, and he's talking about crime being so terrible. He's talking about the chaotic southern border. Get this, folks. I keep saying it. It's so important that you understand this. And please tell this to the crackpot next door that tells you how great things were when Donald Trump was president. When Donald Trump talked about American carnage, he had just been elected president. After 8 years of Barack Hussein Obama as president of the United States, crime was at a 50-year low. Illegal incursions across the southern border was at a 50-year low. He just made all of this up. And now, after American carnage, after 4 years of him trying to undermine American democracy with a fascist coup attempt, which of course failed, because he not only fails when he tries to sell steaks, he not only fails when he tries to sell vodka, he not only fails when he tries to sell his reality shows, he fails when he tries to destroy American democracy. So I guess, though frightening, it was all very predictable. But now he's talking about, once again, America as a nation in decline, despite the fact, again, you look at the numbers out there. Jobs stronger than ever. Donald Trump, I'm pretty sure Donald Trump lost more jobs as president of the United States than anybody, maybe since Herbert Hoover. I'll have to check the numbers, but he's up there. Even before COVID, his GDP numbers were ranked 6th or 7th since World War II. Joe Biden's job numbers are extraordinary. things are moving in the right direction.
Really
We're getting things done. But again, this is the sickness that we have to deal with, Katty K, in America, that when somebody's political party is not running the White House, suddenly that segment of America says that the United States of America is declined. And when their party is in the White House, suddenly everything is wonderful. That is I think America's great. People hear it all the time. They get tired of me talking about how we still are exceptional. Our economy is still the strongest. Our military is still the strongest. Our culture is despite all of the problems in Washington, D.C. But Donald Trump continues to feed upon this pathology. And here he goes again, talking about America in decline, all because he wasn't able to pull off his fascist coup.